I'm Kevin O'Connor. I work with a team at this old house that rebuilds old homes. I'm on a trip to meet another team. Most of them spent years volunteering to serve their country. Now, they volunteer to rebuild lives. When people run away from disaster, these are the men and women who run towards it. Their mission is to help the neediest. They call themselves Team Rubicon.
Let's do it.
Tornado season usually descends on the South and Midwest each spring, but this year it came early in Selma, Alabama. On January 12, 2023, an EF2 tornado tore through the city.
It's right here. We're right in it, guys. Crossing right in front of us.
The most extensive damage is in Alabama, where 7 deaths were reported.
Selma, Alabama took a direct hit. A 20-mile path of destruction cut through its historic downtown.
It's bad.
Selma is no stranger to Mother Nature's wrath, but neither is Team Rubicon.
This is not our first time to Selma, Alabama. We know that community has been impacted by a hurricane and a tornado in 2021 and 2022. We've rebuilt homes there. We perform services, and now with this tornado, the process starts over again.
And that's why I'm here, to help that process of recovery and rebuilding start over again.
Jarrett?
Hey, Kevin, how are you doing?
Doing all right.
Jarrett is the incident commander. I met his wife, Doc, on my first deployment, and she made a big impression on me.
Femoral artery bleeds, you will bleed to death in less than 2 minutes. Questions on tourniquets?
Jarrett is taking me on a tour through some of the hardest hit parts of Selma so I can get a first-hand look at the impact the tornado had on the city.
So in this region, there was 4 states affected and about 35 tornadoes touched down. Just seeing the devastation and the amount of trees and the house destruction, we just knew right off the bat that we had to call this one a Type 3, which activates our flight options to fly volunteers out here.
TR has 5 response types based on the severity of the disaster. Type 1 is the largest, most comprehensive response, and Type 5 is the smallest scale response, utilizing local services and gray shirts. A Type 3 response, like here in Selma, is a mid-level response, with damage in scope severe enough to necessitate flying in volunteers from across the country. Dating back to TR's origins in Haiti, every operation has a name.
We try to do something with the history where we're responding to. So we chose 54 miles for this operation.
54 miles refers to the distance from Selma to Montgomery, the state capital of Alabama. It's the route that peaceful civil rights activists attempted to march in 1965 to advocate for voting rights. It was the violence against these peaceful marchers that forever gave Selma a place in history.
We want to be part of the community, and it's just our way of connecting.
Jarrett's plan for the day is to focus on muckouts. Back at the command center, we review maps and satellite images of the tornado's path to figure out where the muckout teams are needed most.
So Kevin, over here, we have a few shots of our overlay of the tornado path. So this is your wide view. You can see where it almost started in Orville and went past Brantley over here.
Right through the heart of Selma?
Right through the heart of Selma. But then over here on this map is our more zoomed in areas. So this blue line that's coming through this map is the path of the tornado. Then you have these other areas. You can see where the tornado kind of skipped around. This is your historic area of Selma. And this is where these orange lines are, that's your hardest hit, where you're going to see the most devastation, where these homes were just destroyed. Let me introduce you to Derek, our tech specialist, who has some great imagery.
Derek, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you
Kevin?
as well.
So what are we looking at here?
We can actually zoom in and see a satellite image after the damage. So let's take a look at that. So this is the before image. This is before.
Trees are standing, roofs are intact, streets are clear.
Yep. Now,
Devastation everywhere like a bomb.
all those houses, all the trees are down. Here's a tree. You can see the root ball.
While a tornado won't show up on a long-term forecast, rain will. And we're expecting to get a lot of it.
This storm is coming through, and it's going to be over us.
With the storm expected to come through this evening, Jarrett has decided to refocus the teams from mucking to tarping. The race is on to tarp as many roofs as possible before the heavy rain starts. With the storm expected to come through this evening, the race is on to tarp as many roofs as possible before the heavy rain starts. Our first stop of the day is Cadia's house. Her brother Charles is visiting her. Cadia and Charles grew up in Selma, and both were at the house when that tornado came through.
Well, my brother and I were out under the carport. We heard the alarm going off. We managed to get inside, and by that time, I mean, the wind was really getting strong, and I was able to get him into the hall.
With the tornado bearing down on them, Cadia froze. So intense was her fear that she had no recollection of the tornado toppling her neighbor's tree onto her house. When she came to, the tornado had passed, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Cadia's roof had been impaled by tree limbs.
Well, you can literally see blue sky through there.
Yeah,
So.
got a skylight there now, and had a little bit of rain, you know, and it filled up two of these garbage cans here.
Filled up two of
It
those.
filled it up, yes, yes. And it wasn't like drip, drip.
Right.
It was like just rain and then
Pouring through.
Yeah.
We'll get that patched up, and it's going to rain tonight, so
Yes.
I think just in time.
That's the good part of the storm, for people to come in and see the need and truly help people out. Makes me feel so good.
So this is our job for this afternoon. That's the tree that came down, and it had a branch that punctured right through here. So this is going to get a tarp over it. But they're also going to mark the top of the tarp with an X to make sure that anybody who comes after us doesn't step on the tarp, because there's structural damage there.
One turn.
Two.
I think the most fascinating thing was around the edge of the house. It was like strategically rolling that tarp so that the rain wouldn't come up.
So the tarp is down, holes are covered, and probably just in time. I'm looking at the radar, not that you need it, because you can see the front right there, and it could be here in as little as 2 hours, so hopefully we're in good shape.
The people are very knowledgeable and friendly, just bringing good vibes. Yeah. Take care of you so much. It's like cooking, you know, cooking with love. Oh, thank you.
Stay dry, right?
Thank you so much.
Mission accomplished. Cadia can remove the garbage cans from her living room. When you come to Selma, it's hard to miss the significance the city played in the fight for civil rights. It turns out that Cadia's family was actively involved in the movement. Their mother, Leola, often provided food and shelter to civil rights activists when they were in Selma.
She was kind of like the godmother for many of the civil rights people at that time, and referred people to come here. And she was just perpetually open.
And she was kind of the home base.
On March 7th, 1965, 600 activists fighting for voting rights attempted to march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Charles, who was 23 years old, was one of them. The marchers were met by armed law enforcement officers and beaten. The day later became known as Bloody Sunday.
Were you expecting it to be a peaceful day, or were you expecting it to be a difficult day?
Well, we expected it to be a difficult day because the troopers were extremely intimidating. They were big, burly, you know, they had their guns, they were en masse. We knew that it was going to be hostility against us.
The events in Selma were part of a long struggle that eventually led to the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
There's an event every first weekend in March, and they call it the Bridge Crossing Jubilee. And it's sort of a reenactment of that time.
A few weeks later, Cadia invited me to join her at this year's Bridge Crossing Jubilee. The event takes place over 3 days and is a combination of music, art, and remembrance.
Right to vote, to have your vote counted.
Charles and others who marched across the bridge in 1965 were honored in a ceremony, receiving a Foot Soldiers Award. Operation 54 Miles is Team Rubicon's third operation in Selma, so gray shirts are well known in this community.
We're part of the community. We've worked with community members, churches, organizations, and it becomes home if you do it right.
Thank you for coming to our town. It's a beautiful town. Love it.
For us being here, understanding and appreciating the sacrifices that they put in for us, gave us the opportunity to come here and serve them. And it's just been a passion. Still so much work to do. We would just have that little dent. We want to make sure that it's a crater.
The Jubilee brings thousands of visitors to the area each year. And like her mother before her, Cadia opens her home to friends needing a place to stay in Selma.
All I do at this point is, you know, show a little bit of kindness and open the doors. I mean, that's a small thing for me for the great things that they did.
How does that sound to you, Charles?
Sounds like her that she would echo the sentiments of my mother. She's a good person. She's a good carrier of the legacy, but she is bossy in the process.
I'm happy to have met you both.
Mutual.
And I really appreciate your hospitality. You guys are terrific.
In 2010, Team Rubicon started as a small group of just 4 volunteers. Today, that group has swelled to a standing army of over 150,000 gray shirts, all of whom are on call, ready to be deployed.
Do not be afraid to point out issues that we can be better at. That's how we improve, that's how we build the bench, that's how we can serve our communities in the best way forward.
Like any standing army, its success hinges on how often gray shirts volunteer their time to serve.
This is like my 23rd deployment.
7th?
16th or 17th. Somewhere in the 40s.
I've done 7 ops.
45 might seem like a lot, but it's not enough.
Everyone's able-bodied in some manner. We have people who participate virtually. We have people who do different roles at every operation. I want to guarantee that they're going to have impact. I want to guarantee that if they give us their time, that I'm not going to waste their time. You know, I want to guarantee that at the end of a week of, you know, sweating your butt off, doing hard work, that you feel gratified and you feel like it was worth your time.
But every gray shirt is an investment. So providing travel, food, supplies, and most importantly, training, all costs money.
We need people to show up when a disaster hits who already have the training. We need to bring a professional force of gray shirts into a community after those storms hit, which means that we've got to create a world-class training pipeline for them that has them believing in the efficacy of what they're learning.
Last year, I learned how to become a sawyer, and now I'm an advanced sawyer, and I'm out cutting all the trees away so people can get back in their houses.
And that means selling donors and corporate sponsors on the effectiveness of TR's army of gray shirts.
We had to have systems and process and equipment, and that required cash. If we can first do good work, there are going to be companies that want to help propel that.
TR continues to propel forward, all thanks to the dedication of the gray shirts to do that good work.
The reason I became a gray shirt is because I just seen so much devastation on television, and I always wondered, what can I actually do to help? It's just a great feeling to give back.
People are taking vacation from their jobs to come work harder than they've ever worked in their life for the impact to the community, for the camaraderie that we share amongst one another, and for this friendship, this undying friendship that cannot be broken.
Every time I get home, and if one of my girlfriends or my other friends ask me about it, I light up like a Christmas tree when I start telling them about it. So as long as I can keep being relevant and I can keep doing this, I guess I'll keep signing up, and they keep letting me come back.
This cycle of investment, donors investing in TR and TR investing in their volunteers, has been a winning strategy that also trickles down to those whom they help.
So imagine an organization that's funded by donations that can help 25,000 people in a year, right? And what's magical about it is, in addition to it becoming an investment in our future through the volunteers, is it's also an investment in the communities we serve. People don't volunteer to wait in line or to wait for tasking or do, work that isn't meaningful. And if we can illuminate how we're able to do that, my hope is that, again, we'll have more volunteers across the country doing more things for more organizations.
The desire and dedication to help Selma is apparent by gray shirts flying in from across the country to serve this community.
I'm from Panama City, Florida.
I came in from Fort Walton Beach.
I live in New York.
Chicago, Illinois.
And sometimes an operation is a homecoming for the volunteers.
Has anybody else been to Alabama prior to this or no?
Yeah, my family ain't from Tuscaloosa. My wife's family is, so I'm down here all the time.
Amin Abdul Gator, who goes by Gator, also has an Alabama connection. He grew up in New York City, but moved to Selma in high school when his mother remarried.
I got down here, I tried to be all friendly, and everybody's like, we don't like New Yorkers and Northern. I was like, damn, I'm trying to get out of high school so I can join the military. I got a tough.
Living in Selma was a big change for me. I grew up in New York, and when I moved down here, it was a culture shock, and I've never experienced anything like Selma before. It's a lot slower, everything. You're used to a fast pace, and then if you're going like 100 miles per hour, then you have to slow down to like 10 miles. It's like, whoa.
After high school graduation, Gator left Selma to join the Marines.
I joined the Marine Corps because my grandfather was in World War II, and every male in my mom's family served in every war for America, and none of them were Marines. So I was the first Marine, and I thought, what better way to serve my country?
Gator's family has since left Selma, and today he lives in New Jersey, where he's a stay-at-home father. Looking for a way to connect with fellow veterans, he joined Team Rubicon in 2020. Through his 30 deployments, he's not only met fellow vets, but also gained a new perspective that small problems in life pale in comparison to what he sees as a gray shirt.
For me, personally, I come out here and my problems aren't as significant as I thought they were, because there's somebody out here who doesn't have a place to live, or doesn't have anything to eat, or doesn't have, and I'm just at home complaining about my kids being loud and not listening to me, and it brings me back down and humbles me.
Does it feel weird coming back to help one of your own communities?
Yeah, it's like, wow, I never would have thought when I lived here 20 years ago that I'd be back here helping the city of Selma.
Yeah.
You'd ask me, I'd be like, nah, what? Back in Selma for what?
Look at you now.
Today, Gator and his strike team are assigned to tarp roofs.
Coming to Selma, this could have been my house, and it could have been devastated, and I would have needed Team Rubicon. So I'm coming, and I'm trying to help as much as I can the misfortunate folks out here.
Their first job is to help Barbara, a widow, who was home with her dog when the tornado touched down.
I was in the living room looking out the window,
and the wind had the other trees leaning so hard, you know. So I'm like, what in the world is going on? Then I heard some more cracking, and I thought, that sounds like in my house. And that's when it opened up and everything fell. And I thought, oh my God. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. We got on our knees and I started praying.
Barbara survived unscathed, but her home was ripped wide open.
We do have some safety concerns. Get some of all this
Okay.
insulation down and around. We're gonna bring some tarps in so we can protect your carpet and furniture.
Great.
Yes.
That's my husband.
Oh.
He passed away. Good looking, sweetest man you ever wanted to meet.
Yeah, rest in peace.
But we here for you now. We gonna make this a very good day
Thank
for you today.
What was his name? His name was David Walter, and I'm Barbara Walter.
Barbara Walter?
Yeah. I don't have what she has.
Miss Barbara's a really nice woman, and her husband just passed away, and she's going through a lot at the moment and try to make her life just a little bit better.
Let's do it.
All right. We're gonna head out and start walking around, trying to
It's really good coming back after all this time to come help the community that I once lived in.
Just remember, step before you walk. Man, look for them soft spots.
Good job.
Gator and the tarp team need to tread carefully as they work. The structural integrity of the roof has been compromised, and the shingles can mask problem areas.
What kind of damage do you see up there?
I still have some of the tree impaled into the house.
Oh, I see
that I
it.
can just pull out.
Okay.
So it's it took some damage. I can see the living room right here and the fireplace.
There's a lot of soft spots from water damage.
All right, slow and steady.
We'll be placing a series of tarps across the roof.
Rubicon, they're beautiful people. I'd love for them to be up there. It makes me know my house is getting done. I thank God for sending you all here.
Well, hopefully you won't need us again, but if you do, you know who to call.
I know who to call on.
Yes,
yes.
ma'am. Gator. Call Gator.
Gator, you know I love you.
Barbara Walter is a great individual. It's like once you're part of Selma, everybody's family here.
Though Gator's family moved out of Selma years ago, meeting Barbara inspires him to revisit a place he hasn't seen in 20 years.
I'm driving to the house that I used to live at when I lived down in Selma. I just, all full of emotion. I'm not sure what to expect. It's coming up here on the right. It'll be a green and yellow house. Wow.